Ice baths, cryotherapy chambers. Every runner is jumping into the freezing cold tub trying to recover faster. But here's the problem. If you're over 40 and dealing with injuries, cryotherapy might be solving the wrong problem entirely. Dr. Ray Peralta, physical therapist, run coach, and over 10 years experience helping runners get faster and get pain-free. So if you're not familiar, I'm talking about whole body cryotherapy, right? So you go in this chamber and immerse yourself to get a quick freeze. But the problem, many runners over 40 are constantly dealing with knee pain, Achilles, tendon flare-ups, hamstring pain or tightness. They try PT, stretching, then they look for the recovery gadget because nothing is really giving them full relief. And they're being told, hey, try cryotherapy. It speeds up recovery. But it sounds great, but does it actually work for runners like you? And if you want a copy of this Google Doc to learn how to run pain-free and avoid the gimmicks, grab a copy of my free school community for runners, link in the description. So what cryotherapy actually is. So whole body cryotherapy, WBC, is a chamber that exposes you to extreme cold, anywhere from negative 110 degrees Celsius to negative 140 degrees Celsius. And you spend about 2 to 4 minutes total. The claims are it's going to reduce pain, reduce soreness, and control inflammation in the body. It's basically a high-tech version of icing your body, right? Because that's what ice does. When you put ice on, let's say your knee, it's supposed to reduce the pain and control the inflammation. Yes, to an extent, it does reduce pain, but is it permanent, right? Is it just temporary? It's going to get a temporary pain relief. That's oftentimes what's happening when you ice. Well, a lot of runners don't realize it, whether it's a gadget, some expensive, little deep ice plunge, or whether it's just an ice pack, they both kind of work on the same mechanism. And oftentimes you just get temporary pain relief. They don't actually, resolve the underlying problem, right? They're not going to get rid of the pain altogether. And what the research actually says, right? Claims versus reality, right? So a lot of these companies will claim that their ice machine is going to cure everything from pain, weight loss, mood, and recovery. In reality, the evidence is limited and inconsistent. Some of the review shows no significant improvement in recovery, no meaningful reduction in soreness versus traditional like cold pack, right? An ice pack. Despite all the hype, the research just isn't that strong. FDA reality check, right? FDA has not approved cryotherapy for treating medical conditions. Many people mistakenly think it's a medically validated. They think, oh, it's FDA approved. However, this isn't a clinically proven injury solution. It's just a recovery trend, and at best, you get temporary pain relief. Or you just kind of temporarily feel good. And oftentimes, another thing to mention, oftentimes a placebo effect takes account. If you believe that it works, right, your belief that you feel better after using it, then you tend to, if you're that type of person who has a strong belief about it, then oftentimes it's your belief that's getting you the result that you are attributing to the machine or the gadget, but just, oh, you pay for this gadget or this session on the cryotherapy chamber. You're like, oh, I paid for the chamber, so it must work, right? But oftentimes it's just your belief, the placebo effect. All right. And the other risk that no one talks about is that possible side effect: frostbite, burns, skin irritation. But even rare but serious injuries, actually, unfortunately, some people actually die because they get the whole body, they're in there too long, and then, they can't breathe, or they go into like a whole shock, or they're unattended. There are some reports of people actually dying from going in this whole body cryotherapy chamber. Again, most runners think it's harmless, but it's not completely risk-free. So why doesn't it fix running injuries? So cryotherapy does not fix weak tendons, poor mechanics, right? Poor muscle, like weak muscles, lower strength capacity, training errors, training mistakes, right? Too much, too soon, too fast, right? Your Achilles doesn't hurt because it's inflamed. It hurts because it's not strong enough to handle the demands of running. Running is 2 to 3 times impact body weight every time your foot hits the ground. See, the problem isn't that, oh, you're inflamed. It's that your body can't handle the load demands of running, right? If you look at this graph here, this figure, right? Running puts a lot of load on the body, whether it's speed, mileage, terrain. And if your body doesn't have the capacity, the load tolerance to the load, it's going to break down. Well, injuries will happen, right? If your tissues aren't strong enough, you're not getting enough sleep, you're too much stress on your body. So what cryotherapy can actually help with, right? It's balance, right? Short-term soreness relief, back-to-back training blocks, post-race recovery. Again, if you really want to use it, right, make sure it's supervised. Don't just do it on your own. Make sure it's in a supervised setting. Someone's actually monitoring you. And yes, it can give you some short-term relief, soreness or pain relief, right? It can help you feel better temporarily, but it doesn't make you more durable, right? It doesn't actually build you up stronger so you can actually handle the demands of running. So what actually works, focus on strength training, right? At least 2 or 3 times a week of strength training, both heavy and explosive lifting, right? Heavy squats, deadlifts, jump training, A 3 run structure, right? A long run, a tempo run, a speed run. If you're a complete beginner, it could be easy runs 3 times a week or run walk 3 times a week. Daily mobility, at least 10 minutes per day on your tight or stiff areas. Smart load progression, make sure you're progressing week after week, making sure even if it's 1% better, right? You're getting stronger. Try to at least strive for it. And the runners I work for don't rely on recovery hacks. They build bodies that don't break down in the first place. So I had a past client, right? She runner over 40. She tried ice, massage, recovery tools. She even paid for all these fancy gadgets, but she was still in pain. When she started working with me, switched to a structured strength plan, running plan, smart training. And that nagging hamstring pain she had. Then she actually went away with just smart training. It didn't rely on, it didn't need these fancy gadgets. She just had to be consistent, follow the structure, and then she knows her performance improved. She was able to run faster, even go on to run multiple marathons. So I have a few spots open for runners who want to fix their pain and train consistently again. If that's you, apply below, first come, first serve. So in conclusion, whole body cryotherapy is not a fix for injuries. Pain is a capacity problem, right? A low tolerance issue, not just inflammation. So you build the strength and you stay consistent and run pain-free long term. If you found this useful, hit the like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.